I need to tune in. Frequency 72.6. Yeah, people like SwoleBenji. People like SwoleBenji because they share the same viewpoints. There's a lot of players who play Albion that don't want to engage in full loop PvP, that want to live in Yellow Zone. So if they found a narrative on YouTube that supports them, that supports their playstyle, of course they're going to synergize that. Say what you want about him, he knows exactly what he's doing with the YouTube game. He plays controversy very well, and a lot of the shit that he says that is completely bollocks and completely inaccurate, it's all done for a very specific reason. He knows what he's doing.
Unless you're normie enough, that is, and you enjoy the normie guild lifestyle.
Up yours, woke
guild masters.
We'll see who cancels who.
As a matter of fact, my only concern is, why is it in an Albion Online tutorial?
What I will do is state how I feel about that. And what I will do is encourage people not to hate on somebody despite all of this. Because I don't think it's fair. Right? I don't think it's the right course of action because, like I said, it just feeds more into the machine. The better thing to do is just to let it go. Person in the shirt is cuter. How dare you? It's great. The ears are like right next to my nipples. So, you know, don't know why that's important, but...
SwoleBenji is easily the most hated Albion Online content creator ever. Mention him in Reddit or YouTube comments will instantly summon a wave of hate. It got to the point where people are making ironical guides on how not to see a SwoleBenji video.
I will say, the most recent time that I had any form of content with my with SwoleBenji, he commented on one of my YouTube videos, and he said that, I think his comment was, because it was listed there that I had a new editor, and it was like, I would have thought that hiring an editor would hurt your bottom line. Man's just worried about my finances, dude. You know, seems like a top boy so far, I don't know.
But you would never guess that as a new Albion player. Because despite much of his videos averaging negative ratings and sporting a comment section full of vitriol, his channel against all odds grew massively over the years.
Remember, chat. It's not against all odds. Engagement on YouTube is engagement. A dislike is still engagement. A comment telling him he's a piece of shit, or he's not talking like correctly, or he doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's saying something completely wrong, is still engagement. It ain't against all odds. It ain't against all odds. Like, it's again, like I said, SwoleBenji's very good at playing controversy. He's very good at playing the YouTube game. He knows exactly what he's doing. You can hate him all you want, which again, I don't agree with hating people. You can dislike him and choose to not engage, but hating someone for you know, not liking their content or whatever is pretty strong. I think you need to maybe regulate your emotions a little bit better if you're letting someone bother you that much to the point where you hate them online. You know, just don't engage. But I again, like, say what you want about him, he knows exactly what he's doing with the YouTube game. He plays controversy very well, and a lot of the shit that he says that is completely bollocks and completely inaccurate, it's all done for a very specific reason. He knows what he's doing.
I venture to guess most of the people hating on him today do not even know why. Benji's story begins in the same game where legends like the guy that jobbed a TV remote up his butt or yours truly began their careers. World of Warcraft. Most specifically, World of Warcraft Classic. And he quickly began to score decent views during the Classic Gold Rush of 2019. It might be hard to believe now, as World of Warcraft is one of the most fiercely competitive niches in gaming today, but there was a brief period when the hype for the game was at an all-time high that even the low-effort top 10 clickbait was good enough to get a career on YouTube. SwoleBenji took advantage of this.
Hey, what's up? It's SwoleBenji, and I have a special video for you today. Damn it.
Eventually, after the gold rush dried up, he started trying other games like Foxhole, Lost Ark, but Albion Online became his bread and butter. He built a name for himself, dropping an hour-long guide after an hour-long guide. They were rather crude for modern YouTube, yes, but with a habit-forming daily upload schedule, he grew a fairly decent audience, which is the first thing that got him hate. His low-effort, quantity-over-quality strategy. In a busy day, Benji can make up to 9 videos, which for many other creators, it might actually work okay, dude. It might even be the optimal choice, but not in this case. It stands to reason that if you upload a video every day, they cannot be too good. I mean, at the end of the day, making these videos takes a long time. Even with bare minimum editing, bordering on zero editing period in this case. You just do not have the material to have an interesting topic to talk about every day. Then again,
I think interesting or accurate, right? Like, it's not just about an interesting topic. I think it's really easy to make an interesting topic every day, but making one that's accurate, making one that's useful, right? That's the hard part. And I think that's where a lot of people were bothered by SwoleBenji's videos, is because like a lot of his shit was just like he'd make it like a 20 minute guide on a corrupted dungeon nature build with just footage of him playing it in arenas. And talking about how it's such a good build in corrupted dungeons without showing a single corrupted dungeon in the video, just like arena footage in the background, right?
And many YouTubers get away with this because it's incredible, frankly, how much you can carry this type of channel just by being a likable dude. For reasons you will see later in this video, this was not.
Wait, chat, was that Mogden Nips?
Likable.
That's why Mogden's been doing so well on YouTube, dude. He got his nips out. Oh, maybe I should do the same.
For reasons you will see later in this video, this was not the case at all. Since Benji couldn't rely on his personality to market his videos, he found a different way to push his...
Again, since Benji couldn't rely on his personality to make his videos, I think Benji has a very good YouTube personality. The way that he talks, like his cadence and stuff, right? And when he's talking over his topics, again, the subject matter might be complete horseshit, but I think that he's got like a good like YouTuber personality, right? With like how he talks about stuff and how he brings topics along. Like, you know, I think he's I don't think it's that he's got like a lack of personality. It's like I think he has a strong personality, which is why it's a very divisive thing, because like a lot of people actually really like him and some people don't. Right?
His content. Deception. I know it is ironic from the guy that gives you the ultimate mega super best farm 2023 every video, but that is not actually what I mean by deception. How do you come up with a new good trick or a new farm every day for years without running out of ideas? You just take a farm that you know is bad, then you say it is awesome anyway, you make...
Wait, what's this? Why you shouldn't do Yellow Zone Miss, Albion Online. Big profit and fame in Yellow Zone Miss, Albion Online. A week apart, dude. A week apart. Going to the Miss, your loss. Get rich by being strong. No one can stop you. Wild, dude.
Make a 20-minute video demonstrating it and just misrepresent the results or even outright lie. One of the things that got SwoleBenji the most criticism in this regard is his insistence of counting fame credit as normal fame. This is how you can see him say that he gets 3 million fame in an hour just killing random mobs in the yellow zone or whatever.
He went through a big period of that where he was legitimately trying to claim that fame farming in the yellow zone was more fame per hour than you could get even in the black zone, which obviously is completely untrue. You can go fame farm in the black zone for like 10 minutes and get what you'd get in a yellow zone within an hour. But for him, I think the thing behind it, he was saying that like, well, you know, you're not going to get ganked, you know, so there's no, you have to take into account the travel time for when you're going to die, and you're definitely going to die because it's the black zone. You can't survive in the black zone as a solo player. So he's like when you factor in the you know, like the getting to the place and then, you know, trying to come back and dying, like yellow zone, you can just keep doing dungeon after dungeon. So obviously it's completely fine, which is just obviously not true, right?
Whatever other method that he makes up that day. I will not bore you with the boring math, okay? But fame credits are not the same as normal fame, because when you kill a mob, you get the same amount of fame for every item that you're wearing.
One mob, dude. One mob, 700k fame. You know, like yellow zone, what are you getting per mob? Like 50?
But combat fame can only level up one item at once, so it is way less. Regardless, it is very unlikely that someone who has been playing the game for as long as Benji doesn't know this, so people understand.
Yeah, it's important. Like, I mean, you're generating. He said about, you know, you can only level up one weapon with your fame credits, but you generate fame credits off of every piece of armor that you have that's, you know, that's already like max mastery, max spec. So like all of that's generating fame credits. So yes, you then have to spend that on an individual item. But you know, like you distribute that how you want. You can distribute it across 5 different items if you wanted to and raise them that way, right? The thing with how fame credits work is it's not the same as fame. If you use respec points, you're paying silver for every single piece of fame that you earn, but you're only losing 20% of the fame that you would have got as if you weren't doing it, right? As if you were leveling a brand new set. If you don't pay for respec credits, then you lose 80% of that fame. So you're only getting 20% of the fame you would otherwise get towards each individual piece that you're wearing that's maxed up, right? So it is expensive, and I always do in general recommend to newer players, like, it's better to take something out and just go fame farm it, and far cheaper. Like, when you're a new player, you're in that real, like, grace period where leveling, like, so much shit is free. Once you start hitting max masteries, once you start hitting max specializations, that's when you're paying. And especially with masteries on, like, armor pieces and stuff, like, you start paying as soon as you hit 100. So to begin with, it's way better to level up different shit, you know, than it is to try and just, like, force one thing up, like a crossbow, which I know was a lot of his videos before, leveling up like a crossbow and just farming yellow zone dungeons with a crossbow all day, you know?
Think that he's intentionally faking his numbers to get clicks.
But you can survive.
Another controversial feature about Benji's content is his strange takes on how the game should be played. For example, he sustains that avoiding PvP zones and focusing on the yellow zone, despite it having significantly worse rewards, is the way to go. This one in particular is not...
But again, and this is the thing, right? On the one side, I'm with him in the sense that, like, Albion Online is a sandbox game, right? You play the game however the fuck you want to play the game. If you want to play in yellow zones, if you want to play safe and away from full loot PvP, live your best life, king. I don't care, right? I don't care at all. Do you. The difference is telling people that's the only way to do it because it's the best, or it's all this bollocks, is it, dude? Well, the best way to play the game is doing shit that you enjoy because it's a fucking video game. And it should be something that ultimately you're enjoying, the escapism and the whole hobby of like gaming in general. Like it's just do what you enjoy doing. Like, but when you start telling people that they're wrong for playing full loot PvP in a full loot PvP game, that's when it starts getting a little wild, right?
Entirely deserved. At the end of the day, Albion Online is a sandbox where you write your own story, yada yada yada, however you wanna play, whatever you've seen the commercial. One particularly interesting one is him refusing to engage in any group content. And he doesn't mean in Albion Online.
Yeah, people like SwoleBenji. People like SwoleBenji because they share the same viewpoints. There's a lot of players who play Albion that don't want to engage in full loot PvP, that want to live in yellow zone. So if they found a narrative on YouTube that supports them, that supports their playstyle, of course they're going to synergize with that. Of course they're going to, they're going to want to do that, right? Don't like the majority of the player base stay out full loot PvP. I don't know if it's the majority, but I'd say a huge amount, a huge proportion of the player base definitely don't want to engage in full loot PvP. So it makes it like people do this online a lot. Like, it's a very common, it's not like some phenomenon. It's a very common convention that people will seek out a narrative that matches their own online, whether that's, just on viewpoints in gaming, politics, whatever. And they'll exist within those spaces. They'll exist within those echo chambers in those places that reinforce their viewpoint because that's where they're comfortable, right?
Online, by the way, he means any game, period. I have criticized Albion's guild system in the past, and I am not a big fan of the way guilds are designed myself.
Albion's guild system is trash, right? I think Albion's guild system is trash. I don't think there's anything really to encourage players to enjoy playing together as a guild. I think the community tools in Albion are really bad for, like, not just the guild communities, but the communities as a whole. There is literally no purpose for our guild islands in Albion Online, apart from, just having a place to store loot and supplies and stuff. There's no purpose in a guild island. Hideouts at least have some sort of function and purpose, but they're really only available to full loot PvP players in the Black Zone. You don't really get that same sense of community and togetherness unless you're participating in the full loot PvP in the Black Zones, which I don't think is great. I was a Blueberry for 2 months before I typed Black Zone. Now I don't want to go anywhere else. I mean, a lot of people start that way. They hate the idea of full loot PvP. They hate the idea of gankers, and then they get into it and they're like, "Oh no, I get it." And again, like the reason why it makes no sense is because when you have players talking like this about Yellow Zone and how Yellow Zone's the only place to be and the only place you should go to fame farm and to get your loot and to do all this stuff and why it's best and all that sort of stuff, you also have to remember that the Yellow Zone content in Albion Online is largely parasitic, because the only way that we have an economy in Albion Online is it's a full loot economy, which means that items have to be getting destroyed and disappear from the game for there to be a new demand for a new item to be gathered, refined, and crafted, right? Without that process of full loot PvP, of an item trashing and being removed from the game, there is no economy. Your items are worth nothing. The loot in these yellow zone dungeons wouldn't exist. These areas, blue zone and yellow zone, feed off of the game's full loot economy to be able to exist in the first place. But it's beneficial because, as some of you have already said, players join the game, they don't want to get involved with full loot PvP gameplay, but they get there. So it's like, okay, you're kind of feeding these non-full loot players in Albion Online enough gear and stuff to get started, to get invested into games so they enjoy the game, and you know, to give them a base level of rewards where they can then look and go, oh shit, over there's a lot more loot I can get, there's a lot more rewards, but I might get killed. But I'm going to go give it a go. And then they try it and they fall in love with it and everything else, right? So it's again, Yellow Zone loot and Yellow Zone, none of this should exist without the full loot PvPs. As I say that the full loot PvP side of the game is bad, and you know, you shouldn't go do it and stuff. If you don't engage with it, then you're in a really bad place. You know, this game is almost dead. It's a long way from being almost dead. The West server definitely took a hit when the East server came out, but that makes complete sense when you take half of your game's population and shift it to somewhere else, right? I never thought of it in this point of view. It's just the basics of the economy in the game, and it's really important, right? It's really important. I love Zero Zone and factions, Cos Bandit, getting used to dying. Now with Miss, I'm comfortable dying. Yeah, but this is all. Albion's done so well. Again, I played this game for 8 years. I've been around since the start. You used to just be dropped into the game, and it was like, okay, here you go, get fucked. That was the game before, right? Blue Zone, Yellow Zone was pointless. Nothing to do, nothing to practice, nothing to be able to get better before hitting the full loot PvP part of the game, right? Now we have all this like laddered content that is designed specifically to get people another ladder up towards full loot PvP, and that goes from like arenas to, you know, non-full loot crystal GVGs and non-full loot hellgates and non-full loot myths and non-full loot corrupted dungeons and non-full loot faction warfare. It's all this shit where you're brought into the content, you get a space to learn it, to practice it, to enjoy it, and then you have the option of better rewards if you want to take the risk, and that's really good. But again, that all of the supply for that content for those new players exists only because of full loot PvP and the full loot PvP part of the game.
That is not SwoleBenji's grievance though. He states that he can just not be bothered to watch his language and try to be mindful of the rules of any social guild.
Yeah, that guild's for knee benders. I mean it from experience, not some autismal schizoid idea I got randomly. So what I'm saying is, if you're in a guild with any of these kind of rules that stifle freedom of speech and has just a whole mishmash of frickin' people and degenerates, what I'm saying is, what happened to me will eventually happen to you. Unless you're normie enough, that is, and you enjoy the normie guild lifestyle.
Up yours, woke
guild masters.
We'll see who cancels who.
This is a
up yours, woke liberalists. I love it, right? It's the idea of like, and I hate this shit that people throw out like this, right? It's this ultimate need for freedom of speech, and again, and this exists within like America and stuff too, because it's largely a constitutional thing. This whole freedom of speech idea, right? That people seem to link back to all the time. But freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequence. You can say what you like. That doesn't mean you're free from the consequences of that. If you're being a dick in general chat, in Albion Online, in global chat, if you're trying to drag up politics and your beliefs and viewpoints and nobody wants to fucking hear it, and you get told to shut up by a mod because they don't want these incendiary topics going on in a global chat for their fucking video game that is a business at the end of the day, alright? It's not a private Discord, it's not fucking 4chan, right? Like, it is a business, it is a video game, it is with a social aspect to it being an MMO, and if they don't want that shit being dragged up and this incendiary stuff coming on chat and they tell you to stop fucking doing it, and then you get pissy about it because you've been you've been chat banned in Albion, so you talk about it every 7th fucking gathering video, you know? Like, it's freedom of speech isn't freedom from consequence. If someone tells you to stop being a dick, if someone tells you to stop being shitty, that's not infringing on your freedom of speech. The very fact that you've been allowed to say it in the first place is proof enough of that. You haven't been silenced. But if someone says, look, I don't want to hear that shit, or shut up, right? You can't then complain that your freedom of speech is being infringed upon. That's just fucking madness, right? Honestly. Absolute madness, dude. Yellow servers training, but still premium plus all sets. You will lose. It's a lot of effort, don't you think? How do you mean? Magma Weg? Yellows shouldn't service training. No, yellows should service training. That's the point I'm making. Yellow Zone's entire purpose is training and enjoyment of the game, and should be enjoyable enough to let players that don't want to ever engage in full loop PvP to continue doing that. Not everybody wants to have the stress of a full loop PvP game, so they should have enough like enjoyable and meaningful non-full loop content. That's actually why I would like SBI to introduce a mid zone. I would like SBI to introduce zones in the game where you have not full loop PvP but inventory loop PvP. So players who maybe are more comfortable with a bit more risk and are willing to lose the inventory, like things that they've got from chests and mobs and everything else or gathered, but they don't want to lose their gear set, that extra step up in between. I think that would be really helpful for Albion Online, and I think we have really good case studies for that with games like V-Rising, right? Games like V-Rising where the full loop PvP servers on V-Rising weren't that popular. The PvE servers were reasonably popular, but some of the most popular servers on V-Rising were the inventory loop PvP servers because you could make your gear, but you didn't have to reset, lose all your gear and start fresh from that and create new gear and stuff. You just lost what you earned that play session if you got downed and taken out, right? And that I think would work really well in Albion and would be a much better step between non-full loop PvP and full loop PvP. And actually really enjoyable. I would go actively participate in inventory loop PvP if they added it into the game as an end game player, because it would be chill content, it'd be fun, and you could also do it with newer members of the game, newer members of like streaming stuff that are maybe new to the game. I think it would be a lot of fun. I really think that they should implement that. And again, whether or not they did that in Yellow Zone and just said, hey, you know what, we're going to change it around. Blue Zone is fucking your completely safe area, but now Yellow Zone we're going to make as inventory loop PvP. The thing is, if they were going to do that, they would absolutely have to IP cap the Yellow Zone, because otherwise you'd have people in 8.4 Masterpiece just shitting on everybody else, right? But we had that before. It used to be that the Blue Zone was capped at like 700 to 900 IP. I can't remember what it was. And then the Yellow Zone was capped at like 1,000 IP. And then Red Zone was uncapped. But they changed that around when they wanted to introduce faction warfare into those areas. I guess, and again, the fear there now is that's more towards swiping, right? Because if you have these uncapped and non-full loot areas, you encourage people to swipe for like an 8.4 set that they know they're never going to lose, right? Because there's good value. There should be no training, just chuck him out in the black zone. Again, as somebody who has played this game when that was the case, absolutely fucking not, Kamal. The game was made 100% better by them adding in these training areas and these step ladders for people to get into the game, because you need to get players invested in the game if you want them to continue long term. The problem is, if a player joins the game and within the first 10 minutes they've lost everything, a lot of players will just uninstall. We made the joke about it when it had the Steam release, because a lot of people saw it on Steam and then they're like, oh, what's this new game, new MMO, this is crazy. And literally you went through the Steam reviews, there were so many negative Steam reviews that whenever you killed a player that was newer, people used to joke about it. They'd be like, oh, that's another negative Steam review. Because when these Steam players, like a lot of these Steam players that were joining in were getting killed, they would write a negative review on Steam saying, I got killed. They took all of my stuff. This is ridiculous, you know? Like, you have to have these step ladders in to give people like investment to the game so that they don't leave the first time they get murked by another player, right? Once Yellow Zone becomes semi-PvP, you'll have SwoleBenji claiming Blue Zone is 3 more fame an hour. No, I mean, he's not, you know. So fuck you. Blue Zone is trash, you fucker. I'm 8-4 bully in tier 4 in Yellow Zone. I remember when I got knocked there, I lost 20% of my stuff. Oh yeah. You just like lose some of your gear in the trash rate, right? Early Albion was fucking brutal. Early Albion players were terrified to go through the red zone, dude. Now the blues swarm across like that and they don't care, you know? But yeah, let's keep going.
A perfect example of the trait that gets him by far the most flack on the internet. The unnecessary, entirely unrelated to the game, political takes. Listen, brother, I am not gonna catch on fire.
Okay, let's just, I want to pause on this. Fuck leftists, fuck the Turks that spam their gibberish in English chat. Most importantly, fuck Jannies. Jannies is his word for moderators, by the way, like chat moderators and all this stuff. Stand up. What is this shit about Turks? Dude? People are speaking a different language Okay. Stand up and fight these tyrant asshole fuckers that try to tell you you don't talk about politics, dude. Fuck them. I'm not even American, and I stand up for them. Like this is what I mean. That this was the shit we were talking about before. Like before he's got chat banned and stuff. The mods aren't trying to silence you. If they don't want you to talk about politics in their high fantasy medieval MMO, like global chat, if they don't want you to talk about politics there, that's up to them. It's their business. You're playing the game. Also, it's fucking free to play right now. You know, like I don't get the mentality here. You know, it's Sunday. I'm gonna go into my local church on Sunday and just start talking about fucking politics. And if they're like, you know what, I'd actually rather you didn't do that. That's not really what this place is for. Fuck you. You know. Fuck you, woke leftists. Like, what is it? What is that, dude? Like, the entitlement there to the all of Albion Online English chats. I think that you should be able to spout whatever fucking nonsense you want. Like, it's so crazy to me that again, like you're going into this place and expecting to be able to do this. Makes no sense, dude. Pog, imagine. Congrats. To be fair, Turks don't have their own language chat and use the English chat like 24/7. English chat was unusable. I mean, I honestly, like, this is the big thing, is like, a lot of people just don't use English chat because of the shit that's in English chat, or global chat before that because of the shit that's in global chat. But is that, you know, that's a problem? That isn't a case of fuck the Turkish. That's a case of like, hey, like SBI, can we get like a Turkish chat channel, please, so that, you know, these guys can have their own channel to talk in? Why is it fuck these guys? How dare they talk? You know, because they don't have their own space to. You know, it's crazy, dude. It's just mad, dude. It's just mad. We can allow that because contextually that's fine. Twitch is trying to hold it back, but absolutely mad, dude. Freedom of speech, but only for him. I mean, right, dude? Nobody really give a flying crap about American politics outside of the States. The Americans, as an American living in Canada, I could absolutely care less. Just some people go nuts when they start putting out that kind of stuff. It's just crazy, dude, honestly.
Listen, brother, I am not gonna catch on fire because a white Albion YouTuber tells me that he likes saying the dreaded N-word. I am not even gonna rage at somebody saying that banks are a conspiracy to destroy the free market or whatever. As a matter of fact, my only concern is, why is it in an Albion Online tutorial? Not only it's a transparent way.
That's my favorite bit. This whole fucking video. That's the bit I saw. That is so fucking good. Like, it just, like, yeah, talk away, dude. But why is it in an Albion Online tutorial? You know, why are you talking about this shit? Politics, fucking, you know, how the Jannies in Albion Online, the moderators are fucking. Why is it in an Albion Online tutorial? Why is it in an Albion Online gathering guide? Right? Why is it in fucking English chat? And, you know, like, on all this shit. Like, just, it's, I don't know.
Waste of the viewer's time, as most people presumably click on the tutorial to learn how to play the game. It is just plain stupid. By default, you're gonna get all the people that are on the left side of the aisle against you because they do not agree with you. And I don't know if you ever heard this, homie, but Reddit is full of those people. But even worse, the unnecessary nature of these comments and the whole portraying yourself as a mega-based red pill boy is something that even people on his side of the aisle would find cringy. The divisive nature of his persona is the main reason why, despite him being a pretty big name in the Albion community, none of his colleagues want to collaborate with him.
They're a massive clique, and the way their clique works is they all talk amongst each other in a private little Discord, and they all work with each other doing collabs and little get-togethers in their streams and their videos. And the way it works is, if you're on the bad boy list, aka me, if you're not liked by Reddit, if you've got some sort of interesting past that could cost them a sponsorship or possibly, you know, ad buckaroonies, then they don't include you.
Although I suspect there is.
Okay, so we'll talk about collabs on YouTube, on Twitch here. How they mostly happen is someone bumps into you in game and recognizes you, or comes into your Twitch chat and says, hey, do you want to come out for a run? And then it happens, right? Some people through that forge this thing that I know with the whole thing that you talk about bending the knee and not liking to be held accountable and all this crap, whatever. They do this crazy thing where sometimes creators that are playing together frequently that have started doing it just to like collab, just to kind of cross over their content because it has similarities and stuff, because they have a shared community, right? Sometimes what happens is they become friends and they continue to do that, right? Regularly, because they enjoy each other's company and their audiences enjoy each other's company. Now, I'll collab occasionally with other streamers, but not a lot of other streamers in Albion today do what, the content that I do, right? There's a lot of 8.3 running around, and I don't enjoy doing that as much in the game currently. And there's a lot of content running through and doing also the other forms of content that I'm not really too bothered with right now because of the recent updates that fucked it, like roads and stuff. But I'll still hop on with other creators and play with other creators from time to time. But the thought that we're all in this one mega Discord where every other content creator apart from SwoleBenji is talking together and planning content and being all buddy and all this stuff, and that we're all in this one league against SwoleBenji, and that he's specifically not involved in our cool club, it's just bollocks. I don't even check my fucking Discord, dude. I had Ninu messaging me like 3 weeks asking if we could do Rose content together, and then she popped into my stream and I was like, okay, yeah, let's go do it, because I'm just fucking awful with keeping up with shit like this. I left another streamer on red, the one Melitress that I read the other day. I left her on red for 3 years, chat. 3 years ago, I said I'd collab with her, and I left her on red, and only very recently talked to her and said that I would go on a run with her, right? It's not, we don't have this mega social club against you, Benji. Like, it's just, a lot of us are just people playing the game and streaming and trying to do our shit, Like, that's it, dude. That's it. Honestly. Equart and KoKo stream on the exact same time zones, right? And they play together frequently, and they do the same content, right? They both run like 8.3 stuff. They both play in the same play spaces. They have a very similar shared audience because of that, and that's mostly why content creators collab, is because they have a very strong shared audience, which you can see in your analytics, right? You can see on your analytics who in your community, like which other streamers your community also shares their viewership with. Like, it gives you percentages of who the people that watch you are also watching. So you can make a business, and I can tell you that not I or anybody else has ever had SwoleBenji in that, because he doesn't stream on Twitch, right? It's never been on any of our fucking things, like, interests that, or other streamers your viewers watch. SwoleBenji's never been there, right? Ever, dude. Wild. Bro, 3 years, how much do you think the game has changed that time? All those developers, SPIs, you left them on through all of it? I'm sorry, I apologized to her the other day, but I rated it yesterday too. I said we'll go do some duo content at some point soon.
More to it, mainly because in an interview with King Mojo, he stated that he has multiple spy accounts in Discords, just in case one of the YouTubers makes fun of him behind his back.
Also, I had a large amount of alt Discord accounts just planted in every single YouTuber server that I could. And there was only like 3 people that were positive about me in the entire time.
Hell, I even experienced this one.
Like, this is the thing. Making a 70-minute video on why other YouTubers hate you, and going through the effort to plant bots in every other YouTuber's servers so you could gauge how they feel about you. Nobody does that, dude. Nobody does that. I don't know. I'm not, oh, fuck, dude. I wonder what KoKo's saying about me. Because I disagreed with him the other week about fucking carving sword, or I explained that the gold, the way, what was happening with the gold was the opposite of what he was saying, Oh, I better go plant a bot on his Discord to make sure he doesn't hate me, right? Like, it's just not even, a fucking thing, dude. Like, you guys know how much I've played and streamed with Nizori, and me and Nizori categorically disagree on so much shit, but we're adult enough that doesn't affect, like, our professional relationship that we have together as streamers that will play together and stuff, and that, enjoy hanging out together, right? You can disagree with people, and that's fine. I'm not going to go plant a bot in Nizori's Discord just to make sure that he's not talking about me a certain way behind my back. If somebody's doing that shit, let them fucking have at him, dude. It is what it is. Doesn't bother me. I'm just going to live my life and keep doing my shit. If someone's in a closed Discord behind doors being like, yo, NomadPoncho, I don't even think he's that sexy, and I bet he's got weird nips. I'm not going to be sat in there and be like, I need to tune in. Frequency 72.6. SwoleBenji detected. 674 bots deployed. Listening in. Like, no one's doing that, dude. Nobody's fucking doing that, you know? It's just fucking wild, dude. Yo, get back, camera. It's just fucking wild. Okay, anyway. Like, but this is what I mean, but they're making a 70-minute YouTube video about why are the YouTube videos hating you, and then you've gone on and you said shit like this, bro. Like, that you've planted bots in their Discord to see how people feel about you. It's just wild, dude. And again, but I don't think he's done that. I personally don't believe he's done that. I think this is what I talk about. This is the incendiary shit that he says to generate controversy, to drive views and engagement with his YouTube videos. Like, I don't believe that this is the person that he is. I don't believe that this is the stuff that he's doing. You know, like, I think it's just the shit that he's saying to generate interest and stuff, right? I don't know. He might be, dude. He might be sat there in some sort of, like, you look outside your fucking window, you know, and there's like a UPS truck out there, but it's not a UPS truck. It's SwoleBenji with a listening device, you know. I got a fucking Spy Kids or some shit, you know, just trying to tune in and figure out what's going on, dude. I don't know, dude.
One myself, I was streaming on Twitch to 6 viewers, and a random guy in my chat, that happened to be him later on, I figured out, asked me what were my thoughts on SwoleBenji. I made a joke about him being a Yellow Zone warrior, you know, and I kept going with my game.
This is a funny thing. I've had people come into my chat before as well, or like a person, like, I don't know. I mean, like, what do you think of SwoleBenji? Which is just such a left field question. I never have people say, like, what do you think about Equart? What do you think about KoKo? What do you think about Ninu? Nobody says that shit, but I will have people that come into my chat, or a person or whatever. I can't remember the names, so I don't really bother with that stuff. They will say, like, what do you think about SwoleBenji? And it's you know, like, it's so I don't know how he figured out it was SwoleBenji, so I feel like that's really hard to do.
Care too much. 3 minutes later, I get stream sniped by the man himself wearing 8.3 in the Yellow Zone, which ironically proved my point. At first,
So that's how you knew it was SwoleBenji.
thought it was funny, like a bit of banter, you know, making a funny clip for the viewers, cool shout out for a small streamer. But then he leaves this comment on the clip.
Be me. Look for English. I'm doing like the text to speech thing. So we'll do it properly, chat. We're gonna do the green chat thing. Be me. Look for English-speaking streamers who seem cool to collab with and do YouTube stuffs. Thoughts on SwoleBenji? Yellow Zone Warrior. Feel deeply disappointed. Only way to recover now is to give you a 3-minute sit-down. Mogden reacts to it. Reddit post with made-up BS from literal who's. Dig myself deeper. Such is life. I love the literal who's as well. Fucking SwoleBenji out here relevancy checking people, bro. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Who's a literal who, dude? Everybody else is just an NPC, I guess, dude. Fuck everybody else. Fuck everybody else, dude. Fuck everybody else's lives. I feel like people like this have never had like a Sonder feeling in their life, you know? Like, have never had that, like, for those of you who don't know what the word Sonder means, it's that like sudden or current realization that everybody else has a life as deep and as complex as yourself, right? Like walking down the street, like you don't just recognize, but like taking, like just realizing that everybody else that you're passing in the street has a deep and complex life. They have their own problems, their own struggles, they have their own, you know, like challenge. Like, they've got their whole fucking life. Everybody has that. But like this whole like literal who's thing of like that, yeah, other people are just NPCs in the world of Benji, dude. Shit is wild.
So I am not entirely convinced now that it was a funny video game trolling anymore, which ironically is the last thing that gets him hate, his trolling videos. Ever since the start of his channel in World of Warcraft, Benji made guides on how to grief and annoy people in video games, sometimes to the point that he got banned off games and forums just by making those videos. In Lost Ark in particular, he griefed so many people for videos that you can still see a wave of hate coming to him every time you say his name in their subreddit. At the end of the day, does SwoleBenji really deserve all this hate? Putting it all together? No! I know, I didn't believe it either, bro. But for real,
I mean, again, does he deserve hate? Oh, but people can dislike him and then just choose not to engage with him, and that's the best way to deal with something like that, is just like not engaging and not because the more people that do that, the more it feeds into the machine, you know? Does he deserve hate? I'll say no too. I don't hate the guy. He's done shit that I severely disagree with and I very much dislike. I don't hate him. I'm not gonna devote that much of myself, that I'm not gonna give that energy that, you know, of which I have very little. I'm tired. All right, we had a 31st birthday on Friday. All right, but I'm not gonna devote energy towards hating somebody, dude, or like mental capacity. Like, just who gives a fuck, dude? I don't hate Benji. I disagree with a lot of what he does. I don't think I like him much as a person with what he's done and you know and how what he's claimed and on all this crap, right? And what he does within the Albion directory and everything. Like I said, he's very incendiary with his comments. He's very controversial. This is all on purpose. It generates views. It generates engagement, right? It works. I say he's very good at playing the YouTube machine. He knows it far better than the majority of liked Albion streamers, right? Or Albion YouTubers. He's infinitely more successful than a lot of them, right? So it doesn't matter that, like, you know, like this whole thing of like, oh, okay, like or dislike, whatever. When it comes down to YouTube, it's all engagement, right? But I don't hate him. I don't think he deserves hate. I don't think anyone deserves hate. Just literally don't engaging and let someone fade off into irrelevancy to themselves then become a literal who would be, you know, the best option. Last Friday, happy belated. Yeah, last Friday. Yeah, some people are gonna. I mean, a lot of people. It's the internet, right? A lot of people are gonna hate. He deserves to be ignored. That what Soul wrote there. That's better, right? He deserves to be ignored. Did you ever stop to think how what you do makes Benji feel? I'm commenting, right? I'm discussing. I'm being, I think, incredibly reasonable with what I'm saying. And like I said, freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence, right? All the shit that he's done over the years and all the stuff that he said, and dude, when you say stuff like how do you ever stop to think of what this? Yes, all the time. I always weigh that shit up, and that's why I'm also always like careful to not go too hard on anyone because I don't know what problems or challenges they face. Like SwoleBenji fucking gate crashed in Albion Online a funeral for a player that was being held. Players were holding a vigil. Players were holding a funeral for a player that they all loved and knew, and SwoleBenji came along and fucking, like, sniped it, whatever, like, fucking, I can't remember if it was a brimstone stuff or what he did, to then kill the players and stuff and fuck it all up, right? Like, that's the shit that he's done, bro. Right? That's the shit that he's done, you know? Benji doesn't give a fuck about how he makes other people feel. But I'm not gonna go to that level and then just rag on the dude and be like, he's an asshole, he's a piece of shit, whatever. But what I will do is state what he has done. What I will do is state how I feel about that. And what I will do is encourage people not to hate on somebody despite all of this. Because I don't think it's fair. Right? I think that, and I don't think it's the right course of action because, like I said, it just feeds more into the machine. The better thing to do is just to let it go. Right? It's just to let it go. And to let them leave. When's the NomadPoncho body pillow coming in if someone's asking for it? Soon, TM. I also think it's just convenience for the community to have an agreed upon punching bag. That's why his name seems relevant. I mean, I don't think he's an agreed upon punching bag, right? I also disagree that he's a agreed upon punching bag, or that's convenient in any kind of way. He repeatedly causes controversy. He comes back at times specifically where there is an opportunity for controversy to occur, and he fans those flames, and like I said, he's incendiary. That's what he does. So, like, it's not that he's an agreed upon punching bag, right? It's like saying that, like, oh, you know, you're trying to park and you hit a stationary car and you're like, fuck me, that came out of nowhere. Like, it's a parked car, right? Like, his presence is there. He's always there, right? Like, it's not, he puts himself in that position. No, this is a long time ago. This is a long time ago.
His biggest sin is posting video game cringe. His army of haters for somebody doing just that is way out of whack, and sadly, I do not see it ending anytime soon. Benji is making Diablo 4 videos right now, capitalizing on the same hype and jumping from game to game like a hermit crab.
Again, game to game like a hermit crab. I mean, he's doing YouTube shit, right? Like I said, he knows how to play the YouTube game very well. The man's doing his job at the end of the day. And again, which he does really fucking well, whether you like it or not.
But eventually he will always return to Albion Online.
When there is, again, another topic for him to be able to cover that will fan those flames, create controversy, be incendiary, and he can kickstart that back in and get into the algorithm. Once he recognizes he's in the algorithm, he'll make a bunch more videos and stuff. Again, he's just doing his job.
As a new game gets more established content creators.
And again, doing it well, that's the important thing, chat. When I say that, doing it well doesn't mean doing, like, being accurate about Albion Online. Doesn't mean saying stuff that's true. Doesn't mean making content that's in any way relevant or will actually help players. All it means is doing shit that's getting views, clicks, and engagement.
And the competition becomes simply too good. So whether you like it or not, he's here to stay. Alright brothers, we're gonna roll the giveaway of 7.1 million silver worth of cash and items from the previous video. And the winner is... Tongue for Stick. I want a big Mexican catfish for my birthday because it is cool.
Is that a Google Translate issue? Is that a Google Translate issue, chat, or did someone just type that together? What's a Mexican catfish? Are they cool? Who knows? Tongue for Stick.
Congratulations, man! Drop a comment in the video with your in-game username and we're gonna get it sorted out as soon as possible. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you people to say that in the previous giveaway, okay? That's my first giveaway. Anyway, we are now streaming on this channel, so join the Discord to do group farms with the boys, and thank you for watching.
That's a good video, dude.
SwoleBenji.
That's a good video. I like the video. I think it was pretty reasonable. And again, like, the big thing for me, chat, is that, again, at the end of all of it, he did not sit there and be like, does he deserve the hate? Yes. Fuck him, he's an asshole, all this stuff, right? Like, no. I think it was a very fair video. I think it misses out a lot of the shit that Benji has done and a lot of the controversy towards why people really dislike him. But I think that's overall a very reasonable video, honestly. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Hey, look, I don't know, dude. Fucking nobody deserves to be hated, dude. The concept of hate, like, that's just, it's too easy, dude. People are too quick to jump on to like, oh, I hate him, I despise him. What are you gonna do? What's your action there? Like, fucking hate someone. I don't like him. Just leave it at that. People are too quick on the internet, dude, to just throw out this shit, you know, that they fucking hate somebody and all this shit. It's just, don't take that shit too serious. Like, it weighs on you. You don't need to do that. Like, you can live a better life without it.